Morning everyone. I just thought I'd just give you a few little insights into this latest story, which is the Island of Lost Souls, which follows on from the Island of Paradise Lost. As you can see, there's a little bit of a theme going on there, which is the island bit, but there's also this quasi kind of like a biblical kind of mystic kind of feeling to everything. Firstly, I want to really set the context of where the story is. The story is still set in ostensibly two parts, Elizabethan England and the England of today, which is COVID-19, and actually people having to spend probably a lot of time at home, or they have had to spend a lot of time at home, and the restrictions are just ending now. So basically, if I could just give you an idea as to what my perception of Elizabethan England is. You had a very, very powerful ruler, Elizabeth I, threatened by the Spanish. The Spanish nation at that time was an incredible superpower, was the superpower. England was the very, very small kind of country with a unusually virgin queen, Bess. She had an incredible kind of like a group of advisors around her who were power hungry. England was really at the start of its conquest and the start of its almost like a globalization. The star of the show in that period is almost like kept under the radar is Adam Faulkner, and he's the star of our kind of our story. He's actually an action hero in the classical sense, operates in the world of Raleigh and Drake, the Cecils, Burleigh, all the power makers. It really is also the start of what you would call your modern MI6. So you see that kind of like the undercover world of Elizabethan England trying to have plot and counterplot is actually happening. One of the big things that's happening in this in this story is that Adam does find himself having to somehow go back to the original island, and 400 years have passed, and somehow he's been alive for this amount of time in some shape or form, and basically he's met Evelyn Morningstar in the last story, and he finds that basically she is the love of his life, or the love of what he thinks life should be, because he's been around quite a while, but now he's going to actually have this potential joy of actually meeting somebody he really loves taken away from him because she's got a disease or got something wrong with her which he doesn't quite know, and he's thinking to himself, well, is there a way that if I go back to this island, the Island of Paradise Lost, which he doesn't want to do, he can actually get a cure for Evelyn. And so that is the start point of the story. So we can imagine that it's now set in a world of 2020. Everything that you hear, even here in this beautiful garden, you hear some person with a power saw. You look at the sun now; it's going to be 30 degrees in the middle of September. Climate change is coming to the earth, and we see it all around us. Something is going to change on this island that he's going to go to. Even getting to the island isn't as easy as one would think, because it's something that he only visited once. Evelyn, this relationship between him and Evelyn starts to develop. She's really starts off as the junior kind of like a journalist at the Westmoreland Gazette in Cumbria, but you find that kind of like she starts to develop as the story goes on, and even though he's the all-action hero with loads of experience and 400 years, you find that she's now starting to exert her influence over Adam Faulkner. And he's really starting to become almost like the way that she can achieve what she wants in life, and the balancing off. So this isn't very much a male-dominated story. It's very much the emergence of a female, and in the counterpoints of even going back to Elizabeth I, if you think about it, the power that was Elizabeth. There's many strands in this story which I hope you will enjoy. It's got, I call it almost like an onion skin effect of different things that are going on, different parallels, the climate change, the island, where is the island, has the island changed, will the island change, is there a creator, what is the difference between good and bad, good and evil. So is there anything in the legends of stories like Adam and Eve and the snake, and how was that created? What was the actual reason for that story, and how has it developed? How is this not a retelling of it, but how is it slightly taking that story and twisting it around in a different way? Parts of it I think are, and there's no doubt about it that it leans on some of that, but I hope also that it's got its own life, it's got its own originality. But I think also that when you write stories, I love action stories, I love stories. I think this relationship between men and women and the challenge they face together in this world is extremely interesting, and genuinely I do like writing the story. But as you see from this, it's not an easy job. This is just all the little post-it notes that have been put on editing it, and you see the picture behind me. The pictures are sometimes created before the story's written. The pictures aren't supposed to be some kind of great artwork, they're not, they're just something to help me picture where I'm going, where am I on the island, what is happening. It's a different way of viewing the world. I do the picture and then I can describe the picture. It helps me. It's almost like a storyboarding something for a director when he's doing a film, and in that the parallels I've now finding between the audio visual of what I'm doing with this story probably are extremely kind of like every day for kind of like people who are doing big movie sets and big movies. My stories are never kind of like small, they're never kind of just wilting violets. They are completely exploding, and they're also not like just an action story. There's also possibly a love story. They're not just Elizabethan, there's possibly some future, there's science fiction, they are multi-layered, the stories. So you really do need to have you need to have an interest in a lot of things to keep a hold sometimes. So apologize for that if it sometimes appears a little bit confusing. It's confusing for me because of the way the stories come about. They sometimes flood down and sometimes they're a bit more difficult. Anyhow, there we have it, The Island of Lost Souls. I hope you enjoy it. You'll be glad to hear that the next story is completed just about, and so we're going to move into an editing situation. So from this period, which is in September 2021, I hope to get the other story out by the Christmas of 2021. Now that is a big ask. This is a bigger story. They're about 55,000 words each of them. The first story was about 25,000 words, so everything gets bigger, more. It's just getting a more complex situation. Anyhow, there will only be 3 stories in this. I think good things tend to come in 3s. I think in this world of the story writing. I didn't know that, but that's what I learned from the Greeks recently. Yet again, I hope you enjoy. Thank you.